Okay, so we have the development notes from Starseed Asnia Trigger development team. These are essentially development notes that describe sort of the future of the game, right? And this is coming from the Korean forums. It is not a global sort of development notes. However, everything that happens in Korea pretty much eventually will happen in global as well. Currently, Korea is like half a year ahead of global when it comes to patches. However, I do believe they will start to speed up global a bit more compared to Korea, especially when we read about the current note, and eventually, maybe in like half a year, catch up with the global server, right? But yeah, overall, we're gonna be looking into development notes for the current January update that they have, right? This is mostly gonna be about the next update coming up in a few days in Korea, and yeah, I've read through it. I'm gonna give you my thoughts on it, and we'll just discuss the future of the game going forward, because I'm not gonna lie, based on what was written in this development note, it's not looking too bright, right? Okay, so I'm mostly just gonna focus on the actual content that's important. I'm gonna skip the PR talk. I really don't care about that. They say that 2024 was amazing and they're looking to 2025. I mean, with the current state of the game, I don't know how much you will survive in that 2025, yeah? But yeah, the main thing they are introducing will be some changes. Most of these will be quality of life changes. So first of all, new guild hideout and guild support coins. We are developing new content that will allow you to change your guild hideout using guild support coins paid out as guild all-out battle rewards. We will continue to add more pretty hideouts to help ease the weary minds of our fellow architects. In the future, we plan to expand the users of guild support coins to enjoy guild content with your guild members. So we do have a teaser of essentially how this would work. So this is sort of like an alternative classroom that you would have with your guild, right? As you know, we currently have only one like basic classroom. Again though, like, we're looking at, like, here's the deal. The last developments note that they had was mid-November. So since mid-November, the only content they introduced in that update was some quality of life changes, as well as new units and new story mode stages, right? And of course, new data tower. Here's the deal. New data tower, new story, that thing is at this point probably AI generated, right? Like, that does not take effort to create. It's not new content, right? It's just added levels to an already existing content. They do it almost every patch by now, right? Like, they will add several chapters in the story. They'll add like 10 or 20 levels into the tower. That's not new content, right? So when looking at new content, when reading this development note, imagine that this is all they have cooked over almost 2 months, right? So 2 months of development, and the main thing they are introducing is a little bit of a classroom background change. Really Okay. Next up, strengthening the guild promotion function. So of course, as you know, how it works is basically you can donate these various guild coins for 20 times a day, and then you can donate crystals for 20 times a day, right? So currently the architect is directly promoting the guild in the Starseed server chatroom to recruit guild members, which has caused some inconvenience. However, this function will be strengthened to make it easier to promote the guild. So I guess we might get some sort of a similar system to for those who play Sky Arena, where you can essentially do sort of a shout out to your guild. It will give you more visibility compared to like regular chatters. So I guess this could help with recruitment. Again, like, most of the recruitment is done through Korean forums, right? And for the global, it's usually stuff like Discord or whatever. So yeah, improvements. Again, this is sort of like quality of life features, and these appeal to a very small minority because it's mostly important for guild leaders, right? And the gameplay doesn't change too much based on how many people you have in your guild, right? Apart from like the rewards that you get. A feature will be added that will allow guild leaders to conveniently promote their guild in chat. A guild leader is prepared to have the promotional content displayed in chat by entering through the promote button. Yeah, basically just some increased promotion. Again, max level expansion, they are increasing from 320 to 350. I believe in global it is 300 at the moment. However, they increased from 300 to 320 like a good, I would say, month and a half, maybe 2 months ago. So they're pushing it to 350 because they mentioned that it's getting difficult to push content, right? Again, like, yes, extra levels is nice, not new content exactly, right? Like, that's just an additional increase. Dominion Reorganization. This one I would say is probably like the biggest piece of content that is coming out, and essentially how it will work is currently Dominion works by scoring either the amount of levels you have passed, or if the people have passed all of the levels, or essentially like the same amount of levels, it will count the fastest time that people passed it in, right? They are sort of working that one, and they're gonna be introducing a system similar to what's it called, World Boss, I believe. No, not World Boss, Custom Raid, right? Global just got Custom Raid recently as well, so you're already familiar with how it works. You will be able to choose 5 different modifiers and essentially get extra score based on that. So I'm guessing that right now the the leaderboards will be timed not by the actual time it takes you to clear, but by the score that you get. And I'm guessing the more difficult conditions you will choose, the more score you will have. So they did list some sort of like examples, right? So for example, how about challenge yourself by setting various difficulty levels? Oh, and by the way, an option to not allow dead proxians to respawn. So this is like Nuzlocke mode, I guess, for those who have played Pokemon, where essentially if your unit dies, you are no longer able to use it, right? And I'm guessing it's just gonna be one of the conditions, not like an actual special mode that you can set, right? For example, you can do like, because all of the proxians have 6 users in Dominion, right? And essentially imagine you're on round 2, it dies, and well, that just makes it harder, right? So yeah, this one is probably one of the best sort of like improvements that they have mentioned, which is a bit sad to say, because like this is like, it's not even new, right? Like it's just recycled from the Custom Raid, right? And yes, it's cool that it's getting changes, but also not exactly new content, right? But yeah, arena season buff. In order to prevent stagnation in the arena, we are preparing to reorganize the content structure so that special effort can be applied each arena season. Now this is pretty cool. I am kind of excited to see how it works out, because I do like arena, even though I have quick battled majority of the actual like regular arena and team arena. I do enjoy the top 10 arena, right? The top 10 challenge mode or whatever it's called. So if this buff makes PvP a bit more interesting, we'll make sure to test that out and see how it works out, right? But yeah, there essentially, I'm guessing it's gonna be maybe some sort of a, let's say like it buffs units who have like defense scaling abilities, or maybe it like buffs some sort of like HP scaling damage or something like that. They don't actually give too many details about this, apart from that it's gonna be added. But since this is an update that will be added this Thursday, I'll make sure to test it out if it's any interesting, and we'll try to do a few arena battles, see if it changes the meta at all, because currently in Korea the meta has been stuck pretty much the same for like almost half a year, which does get a little bit boring, right? People try to innovate, switch a unit here and there, but for the most part it's still units like Ileana, Rachel, Thief, Frederica, Comet, right? Pretty much a lot of the same stuff. Next up, some improvements to academies. So I'm gonna skip through all of this, but essentially what they're doing is they are adding a filter where you can select the minimum rank that you want to have, and let's say you select triple S here, like you select S, 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 it will automatically keep going with runs until it gets at least an S rank on all of the 3 of these selections, right, based on the rank that you select. Pretty cool, but this is again like, this is just minor convenience improvements. When you're taking 2 months to like dish out some updates, at least stuff like Dominion, stuff like big arena changes would be needed, right? Like, this is not enough. This should be like a regular patch that you accidentally upload throughout the day, right? Like, this does not take 2 months to develop. But yeah, improved display of data rewards. I guess you will be able to see what rewards are given at each stage. Maybe they'll even give you a preview further than the 10 stages that you are currently on. I mean, sure, I guess. I'm not sure how important that is, because I mean, if you can pass it, you will pass it. If you cannot get that high, I mean, seeing the rewards definitely does not motivate your account to somehow improve magically so that you could be able to pass it, right? But yeah, improved honor device. This one's a bit confusing. So while exclusive frames are awarded for achieving certain ranks during the arena season, we feel that this is somewhat lacking in motivation to enjoy the content. So Architect is preparing a new honor device to motivate players to achieve higher ranks in the arena and team arena. Top architects will be identified by a special sticker on their profile based on the final ranking from the previous arena season. Additionally, you will be provided with a special profile image that you can use based on final ranking in the arena. In Team Arena, content chat emoticons are provided that can be used for a certain period of time based on the final rank. Again, decoration stuff, right? Like, is this the new profile picture? I'm not sure, because I don't really change my profile picture, right? But like, is that all? Is that all? Just some bragging rights, right? Like, especially, I don't know the situation in global. I believe it is a bit better in global, right? But in Korea, for example, MAN server, the top 10 people are pretty much the same, right? The reason for that is because there's like 20 people who play the game in total in that server, right? So will it motivate a person with level 100 units to push over a person who has like level 250 units? I mean, boss, as much motivation as you want to give me, we're gonna need some money there, you know? So I don't know. Hopefully it helps if it comes out in global soon enough, right? But I doubt that, apart from like the very first server in Korea, this will do much. Nor is it like an amazing gameplay changing thing. Again, like, this is quality of life. This is like a random update to push throughout the week. This is not a 2-month worth of development things, right? Improved round battle setting structure. The team formation setting function will be improved to improve some of the inconveniences when forming a party in battles that proceed over multiple rounds. So basically, you will be able to make teams a little bit easier. I'm guessing maybe instead of like placing the units, you could place them through the menu here, right? Like, they don't go too much into the detail on it, but that would be pretty good, right? Because I do myself hate switching that. Although at this point, I mean, the arena was so repetitive that no matter the teams, I just quick battle, right? I just quick battle, but for those who do enjoy pushing, I think this could be a pretty decent change, right? Next up, Origin. As the architects have been waiting for, new growth elements will be added that will be unlocked according to the level of Proxian's growth. This one is interesting, right? This is like a completely new thing, I believe. Origins are divided into two types. Core origins and class origins, and we are preparing to allow you to apply random abilities using goods. Core origin provides the ability to maximize Proxian's core compatibility, and class origin provides abilities with various unique characteristics. So now that I read about it, actually, this seems like artifacts from Summoner's War Chronicles, for those who have played. That's the game that I've started my channel with, so I am the most familiar with that. But oh boy, if that's the case, that ruined the balance. Like, that completely ruined the balance in that game, and I hope these are not as OP. I'm hoping these are more similar to like chipsets that we currently have, where they do give you a decent boost, but they don't like change how your skills interact. Because if you get a massive buff from these, and these become super difficult to obtain, or maybe even like pay to win only, this is gonna be a bit of a problem, right? And yeah, other planned organizations who plan to improve the system so that alarms can be displayed for content that has already been updated but did not display alarms. So I'm guessing more red dots. To make it easier to understand, there are lock conditions for X passive, whatever. But yeah, this concludes the 8th developer note. In the first developer note of 2025, we covered the planned organization for various contents. We'll continue to do our best, doubt, to carefully review the opinions. You, the architect, sends us and shows you a satisfactory image. And yeah, whatever, we're gonna be giving some tickets. I believe we got the first one today. I did see it in the inbox. Yeah, the one thing I want to mention first of all is if we open up one of the previous developers notes, right? Okay, here it is. This is developer notes from like the last developers notes, 7th one, from the 12th of November, so pretty much exactly 2 months ago, right? The first thing you notice, new units, right? Unfortunately, we don't have any mention about a new unit. Now, Lindell, whatever her name is the most recent unit. It has come out 2 weeks ago. It looks like, because this does they did mention themselves that they are looking into the first update of 2025, I guess. This should list all of the info that is gonna be coming out at this Thursday, right? And a new unit, which is probably like by now what 90% of the people playing this game are looking forward to, because let's be real, there's no new actual content coming out. The unit is not there, which leads me to believe, and I saw that a lot of comments in the Korean like Naver post for the same developers notes mentioned, is there not gonna be a new unit? And is the new unit review, not review, but like release cycle is gonna become once every 4 weeks instead of once every 2 weeks, right? Because like, let's say if they're skipping a new unit to apply all of these changes and then they're back to one unit every 2 weeks, sure. I mean, like, we're playing for the new units at this point, right? Because let's be real, there's no new content in this game. There is no new content. This is not new content. This is not new content. This will change, but this is sort of like a bit of a rework, so it will be fun for a rotation or two, right? But then again, it's the same thing again. This one, we'll see how it works out, right? And yeah, this is not new content, not new content, not new content at all. This is fluff or whatever. This is fluff, just quality of life stuff, and this, right? So over the 2 months, we are getting a little bit of a Dominion rework. This new Origin system, we'll see what it is when it comes out on Thursday. I'm hoping it comes out on Thursday. And yeah, and a little bit of an arena rework. There's no new unit, and I'm not sure whether the lack of a new unit will be compensated by these changes, right? And if it is compensated, like, it will work for this week, right? I'll have fun with this for maybe a few weeks, right? After which I believe it's gonna be probably getting pretty similar to how it worked with those limited placement buffs, right? Where you can select the bonus that you get from, like, I don't know what it's called in English, right? Because I do play the Korean version. But when you are in the battle screen and there's this little power up in the bottom right screen, you get like several limited editions of that buff where you like strengthen it. So let's say instead of giving some EP to a unit, it gives EP to all units or something like that, right? Those rotations sort of repeat by now, right? There's several different ones, but they're not new, right? They also repeat. So I'm guessing eventually the same thing is gonna happen with these arena season buffs, right? They're not gonna invent new buffs every rotation. I'm guessing they're gonna have a few and they'll just cycle infinitely, much like the current arena stages, tower stages, all of that, right? So yeah, overall, I mean, personally, again, like the lack of new content, sure, this is gonna be fun for, okay, I'm giving it like max a month, but also if because of these changes they are slowing down the new unit release to once a month as well, yeah, I don't see a good future for this, especially in the Korean server. Now global server is still somewhat fine, right? Because they do have half a year of new unit backlog, so even if they do slow down new units in Korea, they will keep releasing global units every 2 weeks, I believe. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't, especially if they do want to eventually maybe catch it up to Korea or even merge the servers. But when it comes to the Korean server, it's not looking great, right? Like, and even if, like, let's say they are putting a more focus on global, which is very clear, right? They can't say stuff like this. Wait, let me find where it is. What I can tell you for sure is that our domestic server is more important to us than anything else, and we will not neglect or abandon it. I mean, looking at the new developers note, this just goes out the window, right? Like, it's very clear that they care more about global than Korea. And hey, I mean, I would have played global. I'm not really mad that they don't care about Korea, but what I'm a bit upset about is that eventually what comes out in Korea is gonna come out in global. And let me tell you this, there has been no new content since like the summer of 2024 in the Korean servers, and the only unreleased content currently in global is faction towers, and faction towers are a very high level sort of content where I would say you need a minimum of like level 210 or higher proxians to even attempt like the first few levels, right? I'm currently at 230, so in some rotations I'm able to beat maybe like 15 levels, but in other rotations I'm able to still be like 1 or 2 levels only because the conditions are simply brutal, right? And you need very high levels for that. So yes, there is a bit of endgame content left for global, but once that releases, what's left, right? Apart from new units. And I mean, as months go by, I don't think people will just stick around for new units, right? Like, I think people will eventually want content, right? Like, we'll go a few months without any new content, but eventually it's just like, I don't know, it just gets to you, right? Like, you do want more, right? Yes, new units are cool, yes, new skins are cool, they are releasing LR5 skins. Is that enough though? Is that enough? It could be fun for the first few months, but are you gonna be like happy if for the next 2 years all they did was new units? Just new units, nothing else. It would get boring, right? It would get boring eventually, at least for me it would. So yeah, when it comes to global, for I would say at least the next half a year, you are more than fine, right? At least unit wise, you will definitely have a big backlog still left. Content wise, as soon as faction tower comes out, that's pretty much the game, right? Like, you will not get anything else unless they are gonna do sort of like changes to global only, which I kind of doubt, because even then they could just use Korea as a beta test. I mean, it's a dead game in Korea, sort of, right? Especially if you compare player numbers, if you compare revenue streams, where global is doing like 30 times higher revenue by the estimations. So even then they could just like sort of soft kill the Korean server and just use it as a beta server for various features, right? Because there's no need for them to release features straight to global. They could beta test them in Korean server and then later release for example, a better version to global. But it seems like they're not even doing that at this point, right? Because this is just like, I don't know, like, this is not 2 months worth of development, right? This is something you draw in a day or whatever. But yeah, overall, global still gonna be fine, right? However, the future, like the far future, towards maybe the middle of 2025, is gonna dry out a bit for Korea. I will confidently say that this game is dead in Korea, right? But yeah, that's about it. That's my thoughts on it, right? That's at least the insight I'm getting through this. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts about the development notes and like your overall enjoyment with the game in general. For example, would you be happy if for the next half a year all you get was new units and nothing else, right? Like, personally, I wouldn't. But yeah, that's about it. Let me know your thoughts, and yeah, peace.